Good morning and Assalamualaikum everyone. I hope that you all are doing well and waiting for today's lecture. What is our today's task? Our today's task is to do the exercises of the chapter we have studied in the last lecture, the selfish giant. And I have mentioned the questions which we will have to do. But before starting the discussion about the questions, I would first like to give you the review of this chapter, that what the author has explained in this chapter. He had explained about a man who was very giant in his looks, and he was not used to stay at his home for about 7 years. He was having a big castle along with a beautiful garden that was being used by the little children as their playground, and they used to enjoy it a lot. But one day, when that giant man, he came back, returned back. You can see this giant man. When he returned back from his friend's house, so it made him sad and it made him angry, annoyed that how they used his playground, is used as beautiful garden. So he just in anger shouted on all the children that in frightened they ran away. And what he did, he built a big wall around his garden, and he has placed a board over there on which it was mentioned, trespassers are prosecuted. This act of the giant man showed the way that he was a selfish, and that's why the little children, he named him as the selfish giant. Because of his look he was giant, but because of his act the little children named him as the selfish giant. But what happened when the children were become sad and that they would not be available with the beautiful garden anymore to play. So just because the children were not entering there, no season was going to be entered, no flower was going to blossom over there, no bird was going to sing over there. That made the giant man very upset, that why there is no change in my beautiful garden. And one day when he woke up in the morning, he heard the beautiful sound, just like beautiful music. When he paid concentration, it was the sound of the beautiful singing bird linnet. When he looked out of the window, he has seen many children. They were playing and jumping over the trunks of the trees. And he noticed that the wind and the frost, it has been passed away, and the beautiful different seasons started to appear in this garden. At that time he realized that who was the actual beauty of his garden? The little children. And at that time he noticed one little boy to whom he hugged and to whom he kissed and to whom he loved a lot. That will going to remind him for his lifetime. And it seemed in this story that at the end of his life, when he was no more available, he was no more be able to play with the little children, he just used to sit on the armchair and looked over the children and get the pleasuring effect. At that time, the little boy came and he brought the message of the paradise for him. It was giving the idea that maybe that boy, the little boy, was having some angelic properties. But it was not sure that he was the angel or not. But for the old man, he was like an angel, that he had brought him the message for the power of the paradise, that you had allowed the children and me to play in your ground, then you are being gifted with the paradise. You will going to play in the whole life after your death in the paradise. And what the message the author has conveyed, that taking care, spreading love and spreading care always leads to the path of the paradise. Alright, I hope that the whole story recalls to your mind. Now let's coming toward its questions. Open the books, page number 58. Take the pencil into your hand. And first of all, mark the questions which you will do. Okay, in exercise A, you will do question number 1, 2, 3 and 5. Cross question 4 and 6. I am repeating again. Question 1, 2, 3 and 5. I have mentioned that you know all the questions on the board. Okay, question number 1. How did the giant show his selfishness? Yes, he acted that he had built a big wall and he has placed a notice board on which he has placed something bad that made the children angry. That was his act that showed that he was a very selfish man. When did the giant realize that spring had returned to his garden? One day, the giant get to know that the winter has passed away and now spring entered to his garden. When did he realize this thing? Okay. Question number 3. The children ran away when the giant came downstairs because they got afraid of him. What would you have done if you would be the one of the little children? If you would be one of them and if you saw that giant man, if you were going to see that giant man, how will you going to behave? Either you ran away, you stood there, you became frightened. What would you going to do? Just write down your act. Then question number 5. Who was the boy? Why do you think he returned? The little boy that has been hugged and kissed by the giant man. Who was that boy according to the story? What sort of the idea you get that who was that boy? And why do you think he returned? He had brought some message for the giant man. So he returned for that purpose. What was that message? You need to mention. Right, now that is all about questions. Coming towards exercise B, reference to the context. In reference to context, you will have to do the first reference along with question A and B, and then the second reference in the same question A and B. Cross question C in both of the references. Right, now reference sum 1. The only people who were pleased were snow and frost. You know, by reading the story, we get to know that when the children were not allowed to play and the giant man has built a big wall around the garden, so the winter season stayed there, covering the whole garden, the plants and the grass along with the frosty layer of the ice and the snow. So it is giving this idea. Now what are the questions? Why are snow and frost spoken of as people? Why that snow and frost remained there? What signs were given to the giant man? It was considering as a people. You know that the act of the giant man made the little children sad, upset and angry as well. So, do you think that the season also became angry just because the little children were angry? Yes, it was the same reason. Then B. When do snow and frost feel pleased? When they become pleased? When they feel happy that they had gone away and allowed the other seasons to get entered into the garden of the giant man. Okay, now the second reference. The giant's heart melted as he looked out. One morning when the giant man woke up, he heard something very beautiful, the sound of some beautiful music that made him to attracted towards the window to look out. When he looked out, there was something that made his heart melted, and he allowed the children to come again into the garden to play. Question: what makes the giant look out? What was the thing that made him to look out of the window? What has he seen outside to make his heart melt? Again, when he looked out of the window, what was the thing that he saw that made his heart melt? Okay, that is all related to the reference and the exercise, the question answers. Now there is an additional question I have given to you. Write 5 sentences about your favorite flower. First of all, why I have given this question? As the flowers are very important part of our surrounding. Not only their looks, but their smell, their fragrance, and they are having very beneficial effects upon our lives as well, upon our body as well. Okay, that is why I have given this question to you, because in this chapter it has been shown that every season has its own charm and beauty, and especially the season in which the flowers blossom. So you can write first of all the name of your favorite flower and then write 5 sentences about it, that why you like it. For example, my favorite flower is the rose. I like it because first of all of its looks, it is available in many different colors, as it is having different types, and its fragrance is very beautiful, and it is very beneficial and useful. We can use it in the cosmetics, we can use it for medicinal purpose as well, and not only for all these, but we use it for the decoration purpose as well. So that is why I like it. It's my favorite flower. So you will going to write 5 sentences about your favorite flower. Okay? And I hope that I will going to receive very good sentences about many different flowers. That is all for today's class and the explanation of this chapter, and I hope that the explanation is enough to you. If still you have any queries, so you can ask on our WhatsApp. We will going to meet inshallah in the next class with some new topic. Till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.